There's one lady who knew everything about Emmanuel Makandiwa. She shared with me quite a lot of disturbing stuff that she used to share with Emmanuel Makandiwa.
And I want to say to Prophet Makandiwa and Prophetess Makandiwa, when I was in your ministry, I was very faithful to you. There were times you'd call me to your house for dinner. I would sit with you on your table. You would talk about deep things. You never heard about any of those things coming out. That's how loyal I was to you.
One day is one day. One day is one day. I'll give you the full list of all the major prophets who went to Benin. I'll give you the full details as to when they went to Benin, what rituals they did in Benin, for how long they stayed in Benin, what spiritual accessories or ornaments they were given in Benin, and what were the terms and conditions of their covenants. Because remember, once you go to Benin, you get to be given terms and conditions. There's a way that you have to maintain the covenant that they'll sign up with you. Some, they have to go and be exploiting young girls, sleeping with their junior pastors' wives, engaging in these affairs that are countless, feeding the demon that they would have gotten from the godfathers. Some have to be sacrificing their own church members. Some have to be sacrificing their junior pastors. Some have to be, there has to be a maintenance. You just don't go there, sign up to these covenants, go back and continue business as usual. No. That is the price that shows the commitment to the covenant. You have to constantly be maintaining it and renewing it. The moment you stop, that will be the end of you. The moment you stop, that is the moment they take everything away from you. So like I told you, one day is one day. I'll give you the full list. And how do I know this list? And how do I know all these details? Remember I told you there's this guy that gave me the walking stick, this father figure in this occultic network. There's no one who goes to Benin unless it goes through him. He's more like the plug. No one goes to Benin unless through him. And no one makes it in the prophetic unless they have gone to Benin. No one. No single prophet that you know that is famous, that is popular, has not gone to Benin. If you really want to be successful in the prophetic, if you really want the money, the fame, and the power, you have to go to Benin. All the popular prophets that you know, they went to Benin for initiation, for them to be part of the network. There are very sincere men out there who truly love to serve God, but you don't know them, and you never know them. It's only when they will get tired of being not known, that's when they'll start looking for connections. How can we go to Benin? How can we go and get more power to entice our members, to entice our followers? It's a competition. The prophetic, it's all about competition. Who's doing more gimmicks? Who is leading many astray? Who's controlling masses the most or better than the other? Someone sent me a message, and he's some big player in Emmanuel Makandiwa's church. Should I say church or should I call it a shrine for what it really is? And the person was very worried. He's probably in the leadership or something. I'm like, Prof, what files do you have on Emmanuel Makandiwa? And to those of you who do not know Emmanuel Makandiwa, he's that one who once came out saying that he is more gifted than God. He says a lot of hogwash, that one. He misinterprets scripture. He has led and kept masses from Zimbabwe under this tight grip. Anyone who follows Makandiwa is literally under bondage. They are just like rats in a lab. Makandiwa literally does experiments with them. He tells them to go and build altars at their house, and each and every day they must kneel before that altar and they must not go to that altar empty-handed. They must leave a seed on that altar, and each and every Sunday, they must collect whatever that is on that altar and take it to church and submit it to the man of God so that he prays for it. Like he has these weird rituals that he makes his members do. And back in the days, he used to do 3-day miracle babies. He used to do these gimmicks of weight loss. He even used to sell bricks, anointed bricks. They are the pioneers, the Makandiwas, anointed bricks to his church members, those that wanted to build houses. He would say, once you buy one brick for this amount of money, it will open doors for you to actually have the money to buy a house or to build your own house. He would sell handkerchiefs, do as I say handkerchiefs, that just take this handkerchief, go and anoint anything that you want and claim it. And it will be yours. Wristbands and all sort of, mysterious activities. And this person was asking me, Prof, what do you have on Emmanuel Makandiwa? Is he also part of the occultic system, the occultic network? Well, I did not want to respond to him directly. I thought I should do this particular video. Emmanuel Makandiwa started off as let me not go back into his background. Let me just focus on the issue of him being part or not being part of this occultic network. Like I told you before you follow any man, do a background check. That should be your starting point. No matter how good his sermon sounds, no matter how enticing their so-called miracles appear to be, do a background check and test, evaluate their messages or their sermons against the doctrine of Christ. Listen to what they preach and what they are teaching. Do not be led astray or do not be mesmerized by the number of people that follow them. It's never the good ones or the true ones that get such huge followings. It's always these ones that are operating under the influence of the devil that normally attract huge numbers. The devil's best trick, the devil's best approach to bringing many souls to his kingdom is by mandating his agents to preach good messages. The devil will never tell his servants to go and teach people to do bad things. You teach them to do good things, but which are wrong. You tell his servants who are in ministry to preach good messages, but which are not consistent with the true gospel. He just plays around with the truth a bit. They just tweak it, just a little bit. They just make you believe a doctrine that sounds sweet, but inaccurate. It is in that switch that you become lost, indoctrinated with garbage, and lose direct and realize that everything you're praying for is not happening simply because you've believed that which sounds good, but not true. So never expect them to preach anything that disturbs your spirit. No, they will preach all the sweet things that you want to hear, and you'll be sitting there nodding your head, feeling so inspired, believing that this man is anointed by God. But if you're going to put into practice whatever that they have taught you, you'll see no results. Because God's formula, it will always yield results. The true gospel, should you listen to it, absorb it, accept it, implement it, you will definitely see results. The reason why you have been praying non-stop for the past 10 years and you don't see nothing happening is because you were taught a doctrine that literally put blockages ahead of you that will prevent you to reach your final destination. And it works for them because the moment things don't happen for you, you keep going back to them, seeking a solution. Had they taught you the truth, had they revealed to you the true doctrine, the true gospel, you could have been empowered a long time ago. You probably could realize that there's really no need for us to be listening to them, but rather we should just be reading our Bibles and following Christ, not them. So going back to Emmanuel Makandiwa, like I said, do a background check of every man before you decide to follow them. How did Makandiwa join the prophetic? Let's start there. He was taken to Benin. Firstly, they went to Ghana. And I'll tell you this. There's one man who has authority over the majority of prophets in Africa. that is Duncan Williams. Was Makandiwa initiated by Duncan Williams? No, he wasn't. But he was initiated by the spiritual son of Duncan Williams, who's called Kusi Boateng, based in Ghana. This other short fame guy. That's Emmanuel Makandiwa's spiritual father. Like I told you, you might not know your spiritual grandfather, but if you follow the family tree, the prophetic lineage of your spiritual father, you'll soon realize that it will eventually connect to Duncan. He is not the godfather. There are big names beyond Duncan. Duncan just happens to be the affiliate. He's the affiliate link. He's the one that coordinates, that deploys these other young junior pastors of his or spiritual sons to go in the market and look for those who are promising. They saw Makandiwa and they realized that this young man has potential. Who took Makandiwa to Ghana? Remember, it's strictly by invite. To join this occultic network, it's strictly by invite. You just don't wake up and Google on the internet and find the location and find who to go to. No, it's strictly by invitation. You have to know someone who probably knows someone, who knows the actual guy. So Makandiwa had a very close brother. They are not getting along now. They are not in good books. We'll look into that later. Who's Hubert Angel. I'll tell you how Hubert Angel was connected to Kusi Boateng in the other episode, or one of the episodes to come. So as they were doing this ministry and they realized that their ministries were not really growing at the rate that they wanted them to grow, someone introduced Hubert to Kusi Boateng. He went there, he learned whatever that he learned. He went back to Zim, said, my brother, I found a gold mine. We need to go there. You'll see how we will dominate this country. You'll see how we will become influential in the prophetic. You will see how we will mesmerize all these that follow, who follow us. Let's go. They went to Ghana. And everything started there. For some time, they were there in Ghana. Kusi doing his things with his boys. After some time, they went back to Zim. That's when we started feeling the wave of Emmanuel Makandiwa. That's when he started doing all these crazy miracles. That's when he started pulling crowds. Do you know Makandiwa used to fill up the National Sports Stadium in Zimbabwe, the biggest stadium in Zimbabwe, on one of his programs themed Judgment Night? You will fill it up to the brim. And that happened after he came back from Ghana. You will never make it in ministry unless you go to Ghana, unless you go to Benin. You will never make it. He came back and he proved it, that he really got something. He pulled crowds, he attracted crowds, he mesmerized the Zimbabweans. Others were even coming from Zambia, in different parts of Southern Africa, from South Africa, to go and witness the power of Emmanuel Makandiwa. That's how the whole magic and spells that they collect from Benin work. They pull crowds. They even call them proud pullers. So yeah, that's basically the short background check of Emmanuel Makandiwa. We'll dig deeper and make you understand the rituals that he did, the conditions of his covenant, and the terms and conditions, and how he maintains his own covenant. One thing that is probably more known to many is the mysterious deaths of his pastors. And whenever any of his pastors pass away, he does not show up to the burial. He does not show up to the funeral. No matter how close the pastor is to Emmanuel Makandiwa, it doesn't matter. He is not allowed. It's a condition of the covenant. He must never show up, and he will never show up. If you can show me a single picture, I know there will be moguls in the comments that will be defending what they don't know. If you can show me a single picture, I'm not asking for two pictures, one photo of Emmanuel at one of his pastors, any relevant pastor that you know, from the temples to anyone that you can think of. Anyone you can think of. If you can show me one picture of him at the funeral or at the burial, I'll do a video and I'll apologize to Emmanuel Makandiwa for falsely calling him out. He's not allowed to show up at any of the funerals that might have been caused by his own, okay, whatever. But yeah, that's just the point I'm trying to stress. That's just one of the conditions of his own covenant. There's one lady who knew everything about Emmanuel Makandiwa. She shared with me quite a lot of disturbing stuff that she used to share with Emmanuel Makandiwa.
And I want to say to Prophet Makandiwa and Prophetess Makandiwa, when I was in your ministry, I was very faithful to you. There were times you'd call me to your house for dinner. I would sit with you on your table. You would talk about deep things. You never heard about any of those things coming out. That's how loyal I was to you.
That lady and Emmanuel Makandiwa were like this. They were very, very close. They were even closer than Emmanuel Makandiwa is to his wife. They would spend time together. They would hang out together. She would spend so much time. Most of her time, she would spend it with Emmanuel Makandiwa. And when that lady decided to part ways with him, Emmanuel Makandiwa went all out to destroy that lady. She recently passed away. Her name is Blessing Mashango. Most of you know her.
And the brutality that you brought upon my family, I fear church because of you, Prophet Makandiwa. I fear churches. I fear going to church because of what you did to me. You destroyed the person that I was.
Makandiwa went all out to make sure that she never utters a word. But he realized that she was speaking, and she spoke. She shared a lot with me. When he realized that now she's speaking, and when he realized that there are some people who probably know what she knows, he went on a smear campaign to destroy her image so that should she ever speak, no one should believe her. Should she ever speak, no one should believe her. People must just think she's disgruntled, she's bitter, and she's making up stories. I told you that I'm connected, and I've been connected to all your spiritual fathers. Any spiritual father of yours that you think of, there's no spiritual father of yours who has not been involved with me, or whom I do not know, whom I have not seen coming to this big guy that I told you about, kneeling before him, receiving prayers and being told to do certain projects and stuff. Yeah, and in Emmanuel Makandiwa, at one point, we were even summoned to come and help him out, to come and rescue him from what he was about to be exposed about by this particular lady called Blessing Mashango. And it's very sad to say this, but I'll say it. I actually participated in that project to stop Blessing Mashango from talking, to discredit her, which is something that I had already made peace with the victim. We spoke about it, and we were in good books before she passed away. But yeah, to respond to that question, to the person who was asking me about Emmanuel Makandiwa, he's part of the network. There is more about him. Should you convince me to speak more, to dig deeper for your own enlightenment about the men, I will gladly do so. I know most of you are afraid of these men. I fear none of them. I fear none of them. I told you before, I signed my death sentence the moment I started talking about them. So should anything happen to me, you should even not worry. We are all going home at the end of the day. So it's better I choose the way that I go. I can never be afraid of these men, and I should never, and I will never. Because they're destroying lives. And it's not good to talk about these things, yet we still do. But if we can save 1 or 2 lives out there that might fall victim to their gimmicks or to their sorcery, then we would have done a good job. But so yeah, in brief, that's just basically the short background of Emmanuel Makandiwa and his connection with this occultic network. So yeah, you tell me what you think in the comments. It's Mr. PDT, and I'm out.